Jack Harlan had spent the last 25 years carving out a slice of heaven on his 50-acre ranch in Clear Creek County. At 62, he woke before dawn each day to the chorus of roosters and the gentle lowing of his cattle. He'd built everything himself: the cozy log cabin with its stone fireplace, the sturdy barn that housed his horses and goats, the vegetable garden bursting with heirloom tomatoes and corn, and the serene pond stocked with trout. It was a life of quiet self-sufficiency, far from the chaos of the city he'd left behind after his military service. Jack hunted, fished, and tended his land, finding peace in the rhythm of the seasons. But that peace shattered one crisp autumn morning when Susan Hargrove pulled up in her gleaming SUV. Susan was the iron-fisted president of the neighboring upscale development, a sprawling 200-acre enclave of oversized mansions with manicured lawns and infinity pools. She marched up to Jack's porch, clipboard in hand, her designer sunglasses perched on her nose like a crown. "Mr. Harlan," she said with a saccharine smile that didn't reach her eyes, "your property is an eyesore. It doesn't align with our community standards. We need you to paint that barn, remove those unsightly animals, and install proper landscaping or face consequences." Jack chuckled, leaning against his doorframe. "Ma'am, this land's been in my family for generations. It's not part of your fancy neighborhood. You do you, and I'll do me." But Susan wasn't one to back down. What started as polite notices escalated into a barrage of harassment. Fines piled up for imaginary violations, legal threats arrived via certified mail, and then came the dirty tricks. Her cronies blocked his driveway with construction barriers, smashed his mailbox under cover of night, and lodged false complaints with animal control, claiming his livestock were a nuisance. Whispers spread that Susan had done this before squeezing out rural families in other towns to expand her empire of luxury homes, profiting off their despair. Fueled by indignation, Jack dug deeper. His military background as a Special Forces veteran kicked in. He wasn't about to roll over. Online forums and old news clippings revealed Susan's pattern. She'd bullied elderly farmers into selling cheap, then flipped their land for millions. Jack fortified his ranch like a fortress. Trail cameras dotted the perimeter, motion sensors linked to his phone, reinforced doors and windows turned his cabin into a bunker, and he stockpiled supplies for a siege. When Susan's latest threat, Ayurveda lawsuit demanding he vacate, spotted her surveillance drones buzzing overhead, the war was on. The first assault came at 5 a.m., a convoy of black SUVs roaring down his dirt road. 6 burly thugs, Big Joe, Tiny Joe, Bulldozer, Smasher, Viper, and Blade, piled out, armed with crowbars and sledgehammers, hired by Susan to persuade Jack by destroying his property. But Jack was ready. As their vehicles hit hidden cattle guards disguised as shallow ditches, tires shredded, stranding them, they charged forward into a maze of livestock panels Jack had rigged overnight, funneling them into electric fences that zapped with a satisfying crackle. Mud pits swallowed boots, sprinklers doused them in icy water, and when they neared the barn, rigged feed bins exploded with harmless but blinding flour clouds. Chaos erupted as his free-range chickens, agitated by the noise, swarmed in a feathery frenzy, pecking and scratching. Jack emerged from the shadows, shotgun in hand but not raised, sipping coffee like it was just another morning. "Gentlemen, you're trespassing. Best turn around before things get uglier." Humiliated and soaked, the thugs retreated, but not before Sheriff Ramirez arrived, sirens blaring. Arrests followed for trespassing and attempted vandalism. Jack's trail cam footage captured it all, and when he leaked it online, it exploded 8 million views in days. Memes flooded social media. Jack's ranch, where thugs go to die of embarrassment. Crowdfunding poured in for his legal defense, while backlash hammered Susan. Was Jack a hero defending his home, or a vigilante setting dangerous traps? Debates raged, with some calling his methods extreme, even illegal, but supporters hailed him as a stand against corporate greed. Undeterred, Susan upped the ante, hiring a slick crew from Chicago. Leader, Explosive, Shadow, and Flame, professionals in arson and sabotage. They slunk in at midnight, laden with gasoline and explosives, aiming to torch the barn and cabin. But Jack had upgraded. Fire suppression systems hissed to life, dousing accelerants in foam. Silent alarms alerted him to their every move via backup cameras. As flames sputtered out, the crew scattered, only to be cornered by Sheriff Ramirez and federal agents from the FBI and ATF, tipped off by Jack's evidence. The pros cracked under interrogation, fingering Susan as the paymaster. Her rage boiled over, but the arrests fueled more controversy. Critics accused Jack of entrapment, while others praised his ingenuity in exposing corruption. Susan's web of influence unraveled next. She bribed county inspectors Mike, Lisa, Dave, and Frank to fabricate violations, condemned structures, environmental hazards, crippling fines. Her lawyer, Alan Greasy, slapped Jack with lawsuits, painting him as a reclusive danger. But Jack's hidden cameras caught it all: cash exchanges in shadowy parking lots, tampered evidence at Susan's opulent mansion. Federal pressure flipped the inspectors, who testified to the conspiracy. Greasy was disbarred for ethics violations, and Jack's countersuit under civil rights laws and RICO statutes hit like a hammer, awarding him damages and injunctions. The corporate assault was relentless. Susan enlisted a high-powered firm for smear campaigns. Fake news stories branded Jack a paranoid extremist, surveillance vans parked nearby, and frivolous suits drained his resources. Enter Emily, a documentary filmmaker drawn by the viral footage. Her camera captured the stark contrast: Jack's humble, hard-working life versus Susan's lavish bullying. The film premiered online, sparking rallies where farmers, veterans, and locals picketed Susan's development. When corporate goons swarmed the ranch in a legal inspection turned intimidation tactic, the community stood firm. Live streams showed armed supporters forming a human wall, forcing the retreat. Was this grassroots justice or mob rule? The debate intensified, with some decrying the armed standoff as reckless vigilantism. In desperation, Susan, facing foreclosure, criminal charges, and a messy divorce, hired a vicious crew of 10 led by Skull, ex-cons primed for murder masked as robbery. Sheriff Ramirez warned Jack, "They're coming tonight. Stay sharp." The ranch transformed into a battlefield. 30 locals and veterans volunteered as sentries. FBI agents lurked in the woods. Media crews filmed from afar. Floodlights pierced the darkness as the criminals approached, but motion sensors triggered flares, illuminating their positions. Surrounded and outgunned, they surrendered without a shot fired, hands up in defeat. Susan was arrested blocks away, charged with conspiracy to murder. The standoff's live coverage divided opinions: heroes or hazards. Jack's defenders argued necessity. Detractors warned of escalating violence and property disputes. 5 years later, the dust had settled, but the scars lingered. Susan rotted in prison for 20 years, her empire crumbled. The original thugs nursed injuries and unemployment. The Chicago pros served federal time. Inspectors lost licenses and faced bankruptcy. Greasy begged for work in obscurity. Jack, vindicated, expanded his ranch to 250 acres, snapping up Susan's foreclosed land at auction. He founded a nonprofit for homeowner rights, advocating against predatory developments. Marrying Emily, they adopted 2 kids, turning the ranch into a family haven. His story inspired laws in 15 states curbing HOA overreach and bolstering rural protections. Going Harlan became slang for defying bullies, while his property drew tourists as a symbol of resilience. Picnics by the pond, tours of the infamous traps, now deactivated. Yet, the tale sparked endless debate. Did Jack's aggressive defenses cross into vigilantism, endangering lives, or was he a necessary rebel against systemic greed? In the end, as Jack sat on his porch watching the sunset, coffee in hand, his life restored to peace. One truth endured: sometimes, standing your ground means drawing a line in the dirt and daring the world to cross it.